Chapter 2 Failure. After turning right at the door, Emmanuel finally found table number 8 in the common dining area. Sure enough, a woman was seated at the table, looking like she was running out of patience. Dressed in professional attire that accentuated her beautiful curves, she was, by all means, a sight to behold. Even though she didn't exude the same air of elegance that Mackenzie had, there was no denying she had the power to make men fall at her feet. Thankfully, Emmanuel wasn't disappointed in the slightest. After all, he was well aware of his own qualities. Without further ado, he straightened himself up and approached the woman with a smile. "Sorry I'm late. My name's Emmanuel Lowe. I'm 28 years old, and I work as a gynecologist with an annual salary of $80,000. Stop, the woman coldly interrupted before he could finish his introduction. What's the meaning of this? With what little you have to offer, do you seriously think women would want to marry you? I can't believe you even had the nerve to be late. What right do you have to keep a woman waiting? This has been an utter waste of my time." Humph. After firing off a barrage of questions, the red-faced woman angrily splashed a glass of water on Emmanuel's face. The latter, who was caught off guard, instantly became soaking wet. Nevertheless, Emmanuel didn't lose his temper. After all, he was indeed late because he went to the wrong place, so he could understand why the woman was upset. Humph. You're 28 and still only earning $80,000 a year. No wonder you're doing so poorly. Not only do you lack punctuality, but you also don't seem to take life seriously. You're doomed to be at the bottom of the social hierarchy your entire life. I'm shocked you even have the guts to go on a blind date with me. Stop being delusional, the woman scolded as she shot Emmanuel a look of contempt. The next second, she grabbed her bag and stormed off, not once bothering to leave her name. To add insult to injury, she even waved a wad of cash in front of Emmanuel's face, then slapped it hard on the table as payment for the bill. The latter's gaze darkened instantly as rage began pulsing through his veins. This woman is humiliating me. I may not have high expectations for marriage, but that doesn't mean I don't have a temper. Arg. As much as I want to make her regret her actions, I know I don't have that capability. Since the woman was gone, Emmanuel, too, left the cafe glumly. To his surprise, he had only just stepped out the door when he saw a long-haired man deliberately colliding into a BMW and screaming in pain. Emmanuel couldn't help but furrow his brows. Oh, gosh. That man is clearly staging a car accident. Why is there so much trouble in this cafe today? Ah. Someone's been hit. Arg. My leg's broken. Murderer. 4 men immediately rushed out to join the commotion when the long-haired man fell on the ground. Those guys must be the co-conspirators. Just then, a young lady hastily exited the BMW, clad in a maroon sleeveless dress that revealed a large expanse of tender, fair skin. With her long, shapely legs and her cleavage peeking out from the neckline, there was no denying that she was incredibly sexy and alluring. "What's the matter? How could I have injured your leg when I was driving so slowly?" she asked anxiously. Seconds later, the long-haired man's buddies surrounded the woman, demanding compensation. "Cut the crap. Pay up. Pay up now." Several people in the cafe had witnessed the staged accident, but unfortunately, they were so afraid of the big, burly men that no one dared to confront them. "How much do you guys want?" the woman muttered helplessly, having resigned herself to the fact that she'd have to settle the matter with money. The group of thugs, however, began leering at her bosom and drooling over her. "Ha! Hey, sexy, why don't you have some fun with us?" one of the men suggested as he shamelessly tugged at her dress. Just like that, what had started as a staged accident quickly turned into public sexual harassment. The pretty woman was so scared out of her wits that she staggered backward until she bumped into Emmanuel. Instead of taking advantage of her like the other thugs, Emmanuel stepped in front of her and glared at the long-haired man. "Your leg's broken, and you're asking for compensation, huh? Upon seeing Emmanuel's menacing expression, the thugs felt chills down their spines. At the same time, Mackenzie was sitting in the café and watching the entire scene unfold. Well, well, well. Who knew that man would be so brave? I'm sure no one else would have the guts to go up against 5 thugs. The next second, Emmanuel stunned everyone by viciously kicking the long-haired man's leg. Arg! The latter shouted in pain as he began hopping on the leg that was supposedly broken. Goodness gracious! That man is daring. Mackenzie, too, had curled her lips into a smile. The café was one of her properties, so naturally, she had also seen how Emmanuel's blind date went. I thought he was a coward when he didn't flare up despite being splashed with water. Who knew he was just a gentleman who doesn't lose his temper with women? I must admit, he looks rather charming when he shows his tough side. What's this? Didn't you say your leg's broken? I mocked. When the onlookers realized that the long-haired man had lied about his injury, they wasted no time scolding and criticizing him. By then, the other thugs had also lost their bravado and fell silent. After all, they knew the tables had turned on them. Humph. I'll let you off this time, brat. You'd better watch your back, the long-haired man warned before running away with his tail between his legs. With that, the pretty woman gave Emmanuel a warm smile and coyly gestured for him to get into her car. Hey, handsome, thank you so much for your help. Would you like to go to my house for a drink? Emmanuel, however, brushed her off without a second thought. No, thank you. I have other things to do. Seeing how unmoved he was by her advances, the woman couldn't help but stomp her feet in frustration. What the hell? Am I not sexy enough? I've already made the first move, so why won't he reciprocate? Back in the café, Mackenzie heard her grandfather burst into loud guffaws. Ha! I told you so, Mackenzie. Didn't I say that man has an excellent character? Your assistant, Lexi, is such a beautiful woman, yet he refuses to give her the time of day. Once you guys are married, you won't have to worry about him cheating on you. The more Mackenzie ruminated about Terence's words, the more her impression of Emmanuel improved. I hate men because they're always so lustful. However, Emmanuel Lowe seems to be quite the exception. Don't be too happy yet, Grandpa. Men are either after looks or money, Mackenzie uttered coldly before getting up. Ha! I doubt Emmanuel can pass my second secret test of character. Meanwhile, Emmanuel had gotten home after his matchmaking session failed spectacularly. Needless to say, his sister, Rosalind Lowe, was frustrated beyond belief. What? Another unsuccessful blind date? This is the 18th time, for goodness sake. My brother's a 6-foot-tall, fit, and upstanding young man. Why won't any woman take a fancy to him? He may be thick-skulled at times, but surely, someone will still appreciate him for his good looks, won't they? Emmanuel's mother, Alessandra Cadogan, seemed even more anxious as she hurriedly dragged him out of the house. Mom, what are you doing? Emmanuel asked, startled by how panic-stricken Alessandra was. What am I doing? I'm worried sick about you, the woman scolded without breaking her stride. I don't understand it either. Our neighbor's an unkempt up at home, yet he's already planning for his second child. Why can't my son get a girlfriend? That woman didn't even stay for the blind date, did she? I paid good money to set this up for you. Let's go see her at her house right now. What? Emmanuel choked out. Did I hear that right? I can't believe Mom has gotten this desperate. The matchmaking session was an utter failure, so why must she still insist on dragging me to the woman's place? Wouldn't I just be embarrassing myself again?